Theft King is a drama FNAF channel with over 300,000 subscribers, and a lot like a lot of the FNAF games, his channel's pretty forgettable. For well over half a year now, people have been taking issue with Theft, and the catalyst really was this. Basically, he was being a bit of a prick behind closed doors, not accepting people's noble apologies, saying he's basically not good enough. Basically just degenerate behaviour all round. But this degenerate behaviour led to more degenerate things, which led to this 30-plus-year-old having a little cry on stream.
You should check out the latest tweet by @LostPopGoes. It's important.
Are you kidding me, dude? Are you kidding? Do you really think this is the menu for this? I DM'd you, I'm begging you to speak to me.
Bearing in mind, for a few of you watching, he's probably old enough to be your dad.
I always believe that because I always want to believe the best in people. But from what I've seen in the last few days, I think Kane Carter is a vindictive, evil person.
In relation to the video I've just played, what was Theft responding to? Was it A, racism and hate mail, 2, death threats, or 3, a simple rickroll? If you guessed that Theft is a pathetic excuse for a man, although it's not on there, I'd take that, but no, it was indeed a rickroll.
The other day I held a live stream, which I am ashamed of.
Yeah, no one really cares, I'm not gonna lie. Although all of this has been covered to death and is actually quite old, I thought I'd just set the scene with who Theft actually is. So basically what happened was a bunch of FNAF content creators and just people in the community came together to make a call-out post against a artist named Fiszi. And this all came from some heavily weird fan fictions that this artist did that was, you know, dodgy to say the least. Now, the artist in question did get fired, and as you can probably tell, that's a good thing, seeing as this person does have predatory behaviour and is in a community with a bunch of children. But according to Theft King, if you're happy about it, you're a bad person. The fact people are celebrating this is messed up. This is the exact same attitude that led to your Twitter warriors cancelling Scott. It's vindictive to act gleeful that you compelled Scott to come out of his retirement from social media and say this. Not classy. Just an incredible comparison. And you know what? To make things better, Theft King doubled down. And you know, he kept digging his own grave with more pointless tweets until he came up with an outlandish claim saying that people were now accusing him of being a pedophile. And you guessed it, because of all this, he made a response video on his YouTube channel.
I was incredibly taken aback when I went on Twitter and saw people cheering about this, celebrating, like partying. Make no mistake, this whole situation sucks. Fiszi being gone doesn't undo the damage that was done. There's even a somewhat credible allegation that Lady Fiszi deliberately included an artwork reference to one of these disturbing fan fictions in Five Nights at Freddy's. Think about that. That sucks. That's awful.
I think people know that it doesn't undo the damage. It's about the fact that someone who has possible predatory behaviour isn't in a community full of kids. And Theft King literally lists some of the disgusting things this artist has done and still decides to double down.
Of course, I'm glad that Lady Fiszi isn't associated with the series anymore, but I'm not happy about the situation. This isn't the time to throw a party. This was the best possible outcome, but that doesn't mean it was a good one.
Do I have to repeat myself?
Celebrating Fiszi's removal from the franchise is doing the exact same thing. It shows tremendous disrespect to the actual victims of crimes like the ones Fiszi drew and talked about, and it just makes you look like a toxic asshole.
Like, come on, dude, you would have thought he would have at least been self-aware.
When something terrible happens and you get justice, that justice doesn't usually undo the terrible thing. It certainly doesn't in this case.
But what it does do, especially in cases like this, is doesn't give people the reach and power. Of course, Fiszi could come back and do some outrageous things, but that just stops this potential reach. But moving on from that situation, I'd just like to quickly put a clip in here from a YouTuber who basically spoke to one of Theft King's editors.
This point where I started to have my doubts about Theft King, and I started to, you know, just not really like the guy all that much. You know, when this whole thing happened, I actually decided to reach out to Ambience on Twitter. He told me about his experience with Theft King. Now, there are some things that happened in those Twitter DMs that I can't talk about.
Of course.
Because, you know, he did tell me some things which further shook my perception and image of Theft King.
You know you're a pretty messy guy when someone who works for you is even thinking you're a piece of shit. Now, based on everything that I've spoken about and mentioned in today's video, I'd just like to give my overall thoughts on Theft King. I think it's pretty telling that he doesn't take criticism too well, and he doesn't actually act on the things that he says he does, seeing as he hasn't changed one bit over the past 7 months. I also believe that Theft King has the mental capacity of a 4-year-old, which sort of collaborates with the fact that he just doesn't take criticism very well. And the last thing I'd like to repeat from earlier is the fact that he doesn't know when to stop doubling down. I feel like a lot of the situations Theft King has found himself in wouldn't have been near to the size they have become if he just admitted that he was wrong and stopped doubling down. However, he does have a sense of arrogance to himself, so I can't see him doing that anytime soon. If you want a deeper dive on Theft King, I will be linking 2 videos from my good friend Rel on Theft King. The videos really take a look at Theft King's personality and character trait more than I have in this video, and take a look at some situations that I haven't mentioned. So if you are interested in the Theft King situation, then I highly recommend you go and check them out. But apart from that, I have been your host Samuel, and I will catch you in the next video.
Trying to resolve this in private, and then you come in my fucking live stream and do a donation. Are you serious? Are you kidding me, dude?